Okay, really? Wow, I got debated. This wasn't even the right book. Okay, stand by. 2 seconds, be right back. Okay. I have to just retitle the stream. Shamanism and the Path of Formlessness. Forward. Clear thinking involves good word usage. In order to live in bliss, it is important to realize enlightenment through right action, right speech, and excellence in how we show up. You who trust, partake in this passing down of wisdom from one to another while living this excellence. One of the central truths in the story that follows is that for whom much love is given, much love grows. Bliss in this new age is a marriage of body, mind, and spirit. While all other creatures of the earth are protected by nature, a human child is without a place to lay. Instinctively, all other creatures reside within established patterns of which they are contained, beyond which they are without freedom or conflict. Freedom for all other creatures occurs as they reside within cyclical established patterns of nature. Yet the human child inside us is less than able to rest within the natural. Human consciousness rises up out of the natural and thrusts us into what is supernatural. The result is there is a restlessness that comes about as a result of moving and growing. This portrait is a paradox of what is stable and secure within a world of constant change. Learning about the path of the shaman is precious because it provides us with a way to attain enlightenment through experiencing the teaching as it is being applied. The first principle is what you give out summons a like energy back. The shaman realizes one's connection to everything. That you remain connected in human consciousness through how you use your body, what you think, and how you show up. If one would have strayed from this, it would be because of a need to live life cultivating perfect detachment. The moment someone is living forgiven, one is released from the wheel of karma. Bliss is about ease of direction without having a way, yet looking around at the ways of others that are excellent and adopting this. This teaching is handed to me to pass on to you. It is handed down from teacher to student from the dawning of consciousness to this present moment. Anyone who hears or practices this path of formlessness from then on has mastery where others are without footing. Turtle. Introduction. Does practicing the craft of an outward meditation of inner compassion through right action, right speech, and excellence in how you show up interest you? Purification through Native American teaching and ceremony, sweat lodge, fire walking, fasting, drumming, chanting, and games allow us to look upon ourselves. As we look at our life with a bare state of mind, we realize the impermanence and transience of the physical world. That our bodies, emotions, and our thoughts are subject to a cycle of birth and transformation. Enlightenment comes as we experience the temporariness of things, and that there is nothing to grasp hold of and say, this is for eternity. We are left with the all-pervasiveness of space. We are less than able to depend on anything physical as stable or permanent evidence to demonstrate we exist. So what is it that lasts forever? Let me focus my life on what will be here forever. The story that follows is a weave of science, health, and spirituality, and has as its base the ritual use of earth, water, fire, and wind. It is a trail left behind of becoming a medicine person. It is the story of Hare's journey to enlightenment. So break through the face that you were born into the face we have before we are born. Move to the edge where transformation occurs. Uncover threshold experience and gain new depth and dimension to perceptual filters of viewing the world. Then, championed and enriched, employ these teachings in your daily life. Practice like this involves learning through fasting, and the practice of an outer meditation involving companionship in letting go and letting be and gaining formlessness where an attitude of joy is lived. You will enjoy Hare's journey. It is a rigorous celebration of self in a back-to-the-earth setting. In this way, Happy Face says, the shaman develops a state of hollow bones or formlessness. Seeing the temple is clean is a way for us to realize this craft of an outward practice of loving thy neighbor through living life more abundantly. Then one maximizes the use of ritual to cultivate the craft of this outward meditation. This is how to realize what is unturned that in turn turns everything else. Breaking the bonds of habitual context of ordinary life through purification, one can reach a hand into life's mystery and beauty and learn to be a living prophet for what is realized. In this way, being becomes a blessing and even weakness turns to strength. Celebration is the essential element of compassion. To live from the heart and exit with the eyes. To dance eye to eye, cheek to cheek. Happy Face sees the craft as being formless, or in the Native American way, having hollow bones. So Great Spirit can come in with all Great Spirit is. As you are wise and bold, you seek out experience that draw you to your outer perimeter where education occurs. You seek out threshold experience through purification ritual for precious formlessness alchemically created. Happy Face has studied purification ritual intimately. He has traveled and lived at the providence of people across continents, studying what is excellent. One day, Happy Face was sitting in a teepee when a sage said, "It is in this space the lodge poles are absent that the usefulness of this lodge depends. The work I do is to be in the midst of you who serve, to find useful ways of living where we realize that we vote in the art of the way we live life by how we participate and gain opportunity to let being shine forth so it happens to you. Emptiness and formlessness in being enables one to see through the veil of illusion into the face we have before we are born. This family of people who are rising up out of the earth in the way we are with each other are calling us to tune our ear to earth and listen closely to the meaning of what is being said. New sights beyond ordinary reality come to you who are bold enough to let go of fixed reality. With sight born of formlessness through purification, one begins to perceive the inner structure of culture and traditions of wisdom, says Happy Face. Story takes us into distant worlds as spirituality is drawn forth. The power of how things are languaged through story reinforce in us the story of our creation and connectedness to all things. This language is from the face of ease, the sacred sound that creates all matter. Contact with the virtues, love, humbleness, and perfect detachment introduce our self nature, where the earth is revealed as a living being who is the soil of our perception and the wisdom of the naive, around which the winds spin. This understanding flows from where naught has entered, and is retrieved from the emptiness of space, where fresh visions arise from within. Happy Face considers our natural condition, seeing the myriad in all changing faces of creation as likeness born of one. In this way there is a rushing toward each other, and one is rising up from two. These fruits are the riches offered you who choose the path of formlessness. To look into the nature of being, to have looked into this fertile place where naught has entered. To journey through this vast inner universe we call the mind, where imagery pours out of an interior world. The metaphor of this manual comes from David and my own personal experience. We are very physical people who believe we should live simply so others can simply live. Our being is realized through the preciousness of our own body. Of this we should take care and enjoy and remember. Enlightenment is readily obtained in being present and relatively healthy. Aho mitakuye oyasin. Annie Jubb. Chapter 1. A shaman transmits the power to unfold this cosmic wheel of light latent inside. The shaman, like a sower going forth, transforms the field, making it fertile to receive the seed being planted. Many come seeking the more outer teaching, yet the more inner teaching involves a preparation of self. All who seek this most inner treasure, who sincerely want to know the straight path, can benefit from learning what emptiness and formlessness is. Wholeness in this way means to empty the mind of self, to be hallowed in order to be seeking, that we come to each other in hunger, that in friendship we are fed. This is the primary condition of an illuminated teacher. In this way, the shaman seeks wholeness from being empty of self. In other words, the shaman is someone who is humble. If the apprentice was to have preconceived ideas of what spirituality is, or had pride, wealth, beauty, or lineage while learning, the mind may yet need to be fertile to receive the seed of the innermost teachings. One who is illuminated, one who is most living what is divine, can instruct the apprentice if the apprentice can develop formlessness by emptying self, by humbling self, by questioning and serving. There is an ancient story about Hare, who in seeking to apprentice in the shamanic way, went in search of a teacher. Hare was guided to this wise shaman Turtle. Upon meeting Hare, Turtle with spiritual insight realized Hare was full of what Hare thought important, and was yet in need of being receptive to be taught. Asked, "Are you aware of what you must do to become a shaman?" "Pray, please tell me what I need to do," asked Hare. "Well, you must place yourself in the service of others, for the love of this great cosmic wheel of life that dwelleth in every being. And you must subject yourself even to the scornfulness of others. And you should also put some hours into studying and practicing what interests you most for many hours." "Are you willing to do all this?" exclaimed Turtle. "Now I know what the apprentice does. What does the illuminated one do?" asked Hare. "Oh, the shaman quietly mingles and appears to be part of everything, giving spiritual instruction in a quiet way." "Aha, I see," said Hare. "In that case, I only want to be a shaman. Why would you have me do something else rather than making me a shaman?" "Well, all of us want to be illuminated, yet we must learn to be formless by being empty first," said Turtle. "Spiritual progress occurs as you thirst and hunger for what is divine. Then it's possible to be truly satiated. This emptiness and hunger is rare as it rises up out of being drawn to join with what is divine. It is in this moment you are the eyes of the world. While many are happy with their surface lives, somewhere in the mind there is a feeling that we need to be whole, and that rather than filling this void through developing consciousness, that the need to feel whole could be filled through sense objects. People work and cry because they are less than rich materially. Yet we should also feel this way if we are yet to see the fountainhead. We should meditate from having realized, and through this purify the temple. So what is given is love in all we serve. So you hold yourself high in the light that surrounds you. You purify, meditate, realize, serve, love, and give," said Turtle. "What you are is beyond any one behavior. Your identity is beyond your relatives, objects, mood, performance, physical condition, possessions, and wealth. If one would have lost any one of these things, one feels as if one has lost one's self. This is all forgone by direct knowing of the divine. We begin to feel spiritual happiness in ourselves as we shed even a single tear for being poor spiritually. How will I know I am seeing this fountainhead? Asked Hare at long last. Turtle paused for a moment as if to ponder deeply, then replied without blinking. You are one with Great Spirit and molten into this love as you learn to become formless by wholly forgetting yourself. So all that's left behind is what Great Spirit is in you and you in Great Spirit, so you abide together as one. Hare had only wished for surface things and now was wondering whether this journey is going to be worth it. Turtle seemed ancient and well sure-footed both in the water, where Hare was less adept, and anyway, Turtle just seemed for eternity what may be construed as divine by how old, lived, and experienced Turtle appeared. Hare asked Turtle excitedly, Please, I pray that I may be whole. Turtle, give me the beginning teaching that I may come into this moment. As this happens to us, one finally arises and sees precious formlessness alchemically created through our having lived for all worldly things to realize that emptiness and formlessness are one. Then Great Spirit will make physical your dreams as steady as a rock is drawn by gravity down into the center. You mean you want me to give up worldly desires and focus my mind on what Great Spirit is in us? But what about my burrow, the position I have in the village? Said Hare. You must let go of what separated you from Great Spirit in one another, said Turtle. Your mind is cleared of delusion, as you have let go what is less than the other. Formlessness is about letting go of me, my, own, and other. We should perceive that Great Spirit works through us. We are Great Spirit's servants. Excellence is attained as you live humbly. Formlessness is attained as you go out of yourself with all that you are and let this cosmic wheel of life come in with all it is. Whatever is soft and giving always rises to the top, and whoever can bend and allow inherits everything, said Turtle. The day was getting lazier as Hare listened to Turtle's wisdom. Turtle hardly blinked at all while talking to Hare. Hare was mystified at the ancient way Turtle looked. Turtle had some deep scrape marks that wend the length of the outer shell, giving the appearance Turtle had been struck between rocks many times. The shaman is one who learns to steal excellence, quipped Turtle. Then you become a master of all riches. What do you mean, steal excellence? Said Hare, raising up a little and sniffing the wind. Well, said Turtle, this is about formlessness. You see, Hare, the shaman is someone who realizes that all resources and every attribute and piece of property and thing Great Spirit actually owns. We merely borrow these gifts. What we possess in its entirety, said Turtle, belongs exclusively to Great Spirit. I've worked hard for my position and the other things I own, Hare said. Yes, said Turtle, it belongs to you by rights given to you through the face you were born into. Yet in truth, formlessness comes to you as you realize that none of this belongs exclusively to you, yet to Great Spirit. If you had thought that it is yours, you would have been appropriating Great Spirit's gifts. I see, said Hare. Then tell me how humbleness is formless. Turtle turned and looked seemingly into the midday sun. The shaman develops formlessness by surrendering self to Great Spirit, by being free of all sense of me and mine. What about riches, then? Hare piped in. This is all very well, exclaimed Turtle. If you also realize that you are the custodian of what belongs to Great Spirit, and that by your work you are known as Great Spirit's servant, and that Great Spirit has entrusted all creatures and possessions into your care. You should remember that what you hold in your hands is an original. You would have borrowed this from those to come. You become a master of transformation as you employ these innermost truths, said Turtle. You inherit ease, resource, and clarity in all that you do. People who accumulate stores of wealth are often chained to their possessions. They hardly ever really possess these things. Yet, you who learn to give up your sense of attachment experience the advantage of formlessness that is available. As you realize all traits and things accumulate belong to Great Spirit. How can I achieve anything if the shaman is someone who renounces everything? Asked Hare. Well, said Turtle, turning slowly to face Hare, as it is that you are filled with divine bliss, this is the moment you really are the eyes of the world. There's always someone up front, and the shaman freely mingles and pretends to be a part of everything. By sincerely looking for likeness and giving up all that separates, you gain everything. Of all mediums, energy comes packaged in water is the softest. Yet of all things that are firm and hard, water softens. Gentleness and softness allow one to inherit the earth. Turtle had already pointed out the fact that most people's interest in Wakantanka operating through them was minimal in comparison to desire and interest in all kinds of worldly things. How does one begin to develop this way of being? Asked Hare, looking out from their vantage point on top of a grassy knoll across a pond. The reflection of a mountain range that had stretched its early shadow toward them slowly withdrew up the valley as the sun drenched the morning dew. You should start with self-effort. We can develop our ability to walk this road less traveled as a shaman by being holy first, then teacher, then healer. You should learn the meaning of what is sacred, said Turtle. Nothing I can say over you, Hare, is sacred. Nothing that I have done or made is sacred. These things are less than able to save you. To be saved and sacred mean the same thing. The only thing that can save you, Hare, is your being. This is what is sacred. The rock's being, the eagle's being is what is sacred. If you have hunger and thirst for Wakantanka, if this hunger rages and this thirst burns in you, Hare, then out of the orange dawning of this day, Wakantanka will be revealed to you. Come, I'll show you what type of feeling is necessary, said Turtle, as they walked to the pond's edge and waded in. Turtle lightly held Hare's head in the water for a few moments. Then, finally releasing Hare, Turtle asked, Well, what feelings did you feel? Hare gasped and, looking at Turtle, begrudgingly said, Whoa! Oh, I wanted air. As you ask Wakantanka with the same passion, you will have a vision. With this they walked and dried off in an arraignment of sunshine a small clearing in the bush offered. In what seemed for eternity, at long last, Turtle finally broke the silence. A great inner calm, like a steady state flow, like a stream of liberation flowing inside self, is what can be achieved by being happy and having compassion for the less fortunate. We should further cultivate an inner meditative state where you are even indifferent and virtuous to what is less than excellent. Wakantanka ever stands by every person, as the sun lights all paths evenly. Well, sighed Hare with inner reverence for Turtle's wisdom. My family have been dubbed as the royal who have 1,000 enemies. Everyone wants a bunny, exclaimed Hare. Well, said Turtle, the shaman is someone who lives a birthless, deathless world. Whatever you feel is something you project also. One who goes around trying to save their life ends up losing it, and one who loses their life finds it. As you are illuminated, your soul is all-knowing. You are connected without awareness of where you begin or finish. You feel an inner bliss and feeling of eternity where all impressions vanish. Even as Wakantanka offers you spiritual enlightenment, many are less than able to accept this. People instinctively cling to their surface lives and thoughts, even when letting these go means passing into infinite consciousness compared to normal waking consciousness. Turtle leaned over and lightly touched Hare's forehead. Immediately, Hare's spiritual vision starts to open. Hare cried, "Oh, Turtle, what are you doing to me? What about my family position? My burrow?" Turtle replied, "Oh, you too." Turtle realized that any good apprenticed shaman is subject to universal clinging to surface things, though the shaman is someone who realizes a blood-related connection to the work of Wakantanka. "Yes, you too," Turtle replied. Turtle could see that even this great sage Hare would turn out to be was clinging to surface consciousness. "There are many ways to develop hollow bones," Turtle said expectantly. "My teacher, Two Feathers, used to say, when we do purification through fasting and sweat lodge, we are crystallizing the sound and sight we sense through our heart." Turtle could sense Hare's mystified chagrin at Turtle's matter-of-factness. "You know, Hare, Tunkashila is Wakantanka's representative here in us. The main principle Tunkashila teaches us is to devote and take refuge in Wakantanka. The more we can take refuge in Great Spirit, the more we love Wakantanka, the more formless we become ourselves. Wakantanka says we are already pure and divine, and that all the changing faces of the universe is in a likeness of what Great Spirit is. I want peace to be. I want to bring peace to be," said Hare. "How does formlessness relate with this?" Turtle paused to watch Hare getting up and stretching out. "By being at one with all things, you remain joined to all things like a rope mooring." "Is this formlessness?" asked Hare. "This is like a mountain stands unmoved by a breath of wind. If you would have been assertive or pursued worldly things, this would be like a burnt rope having the image of a rope, yet being less than able to be used. As Wakantanka resides in your heart, you bring tidings of good news, cheer, and delight everywhere you go. You bring peace and eternal bliss. Whoever comes into your presence while you are in this state feels a spiritual joy and an atmosphere of celebration and festivity." "One day," Turtle said, continuing on without blinking, "some apprentices of my teacher, Two Feathers, lived together applying the medicine way. After a while, though, they fell into old ways and began to be less than excellent in their communications and lifestyles. Some of the other apprentices said they would inform Two Feathers of this. When they contacted Two Feathers about this, saying that the offender should be expelled, Two Feathers replied, "These apprentices came to us seeking to be whole. We should do what we can to help illuminate the way. Let this be handled as soon as I arrive." Finally, Two Feathers arrived, and without saying anything started living there, insisting that the apprentices meditate in Two Feathers' presence every day. The apprentices who had strayed from the path became uplifted, their minds and hearts transformed. As I remember when I first met Turtle. Turtle was looking for students to teach the word of Wakantanka and asked me, "Do you have divine commission?" Only one who has seen Wakantanka can receive direct command to teach. One may be excellent when it comes to the 3 R's in education and give wonderful speeches, yet be less than excellent as it comes to spirituality. In order to illuminate and transform the way for others, quipped Grasshopper, I need to be sure my lantern is lit. And then you need Wakantanka to give you the switch to get things moving, piped in Turtle. After Hare, Grasshopper, and Turtle had been walking for a while, they sat down on the trail to rest. Finally, Hare said, "I'm thirsty." Oh, okay, so wait, 16, 21. Where's 17? Okay, whatever. So Turtle smudged a rock and drew forth a plant reed and led Hare to a nearby spring. Turtle's hands made some flicking sounds over the top of the water, as if flicking something into the water. Hare guzzled without saying a word and was pleasantly surprised that it tasted like the juice of a melon. And after a little while Hare said, "I'm hungry." Turtle bent down and scooped up a handful of delicious tiny crunchy lime green flowers that were floating on top of the water and turned and gave it to Hare to eat. Hare just sat in silence and ate. Later on the three went on down the trail which led to a precipice waterfall. In the mist Hare tripped and scraped a paw and could hardly walk. Turtle crushed some broad green leaves and applied this to Hare's paw. Hare was amazed about being instantly able to walk again. "Healing occurs instantly," said Turtle. Hare remained silent. Several days later Turtle and Grasshopper went in search of Hare, yet Hare was unable to be found. Quite by providence, Turtle met Hare. "Gosh, Hare, I thought we were friends who looked forward to seeing each other." "I like to be alone because I feel less than easy around magic," said Hare, "so leave me alone." Hare was so distracted that the tears were welling up in Turtle's unblinking eyes were totally overlooked as Hare finally snapped, "I hope our paths go in a direction other than toward each other. The sweet medicine holding us together is less than connected, and I am trying to deal with the fact that my family are the royals who have 1,000 enemies." "What you resist will persist," Turtle quipped. "What you have feared you have become. You need to focus on what you have, Hare, rather than what you are without. Hare, for you to reach, to teach, and do Wakantanka's work, you need to have the ability to let go and listen. My teacher, Two Feathers, used to pray to Wakantanka and say, 'Thank you, thank you, thank you, Wakantanka, because you always listen, you always hear me.' This expresses the most fundamental aspect of living in relationship. As you are also listening, then you are free to speak," said Turtle. Turtle turned and looked Hare in the eyes and in an unblinking way stated, "Hare, formlessness is about going out of yourself so that direct knowing can enter in. Spiritual teaching grows as this is being taught by one who's illuminated. One who's illuminated has authority that rests in this vast sea of cosmic consciousness. One who has this magic is thus without the need of encyclopedic information. In this way, the shaman teaches from inner experience. One who has seen Wakantanka is complete without academic knowing to teach spirituality. As this flower inside you blossoms, Hare, the bees will gravitate to you of their free will to gather honey. When two feathers would appear, spiritual aspirants would gather. They could hardly help themselves of loving two feathers and thinking of Wakantanka. In the presence of two feathers, it was easy to have Wakantanka realization. This is my experience at the feet of two feathers. If you go to see a basket weaver or tool maker, you are filled with the atmosphere of what these trades are about. If you go to be with a holy person, without knowing much of the medicine way, you become filled with the atmosphere of Wakantanka, even though the holy person is talking about something else. This is the test, Hare, if you feel this energy when you are around a holy person. Do all people feel this way around a holy person? Asked Hare. Do you have to be open to receive Wakantanka? You need to be interested in this godlike realization. Has Wakantanka come into Tonkashila more than once? Quipped Hare. Yes, said Turtle, staring into space. Wakantanka personalizes change, born out of spiritual and cultural upheavals that moves more in waves with surges and ebbs. Wakantanka becomes born through Tonkashila in us when goodness has to grow strong as what it is that is spiritual needs mending. In every age, Tonkashila appears to deliver what is holy. From time to time, Wakantanka incarnates as Tonkashila. Through Tonkashila's living example, we are shown how to fly these fancy flight craft, even as Wakantanka is in heaven. Tonkashila has the ability to change dress and geography. Yet, when born, Tonkashila assumes certain limitations like thirst and hunger. Our souls are born out of the thoughts of the future, with aptitudes dictated by present cultural tendencies. Yet one who is born in formlessness sees through the veil of illusion and the world projected by most. You must project yourself out and beyond the old ways. Those who have followed the path of the very upright and ethical often are in need the most of let go of forms and outward observation. This would then make them more tolerant, broad-minded, and intuitive. Finally, said Turtle, if you frame things positively and take in life food, you develop spiritually toward union with Wakantanka. As you attain this ultimate being, even without conscious discrimination, one practices self-mastery. Then having hollow bones becomes your very nature, and heaven dwells in you here on earth. As we really love Wakantanka, we find this godlike realization everywhere we look. All thoughts of exclusiveness and separateness are morally less than the way, because they are in need of enlightenment of Wakantanka. Two Feathers is truly a great spiritual teacher and great psychologist who taught me to be reconciled with my brethren before offering a gift to Wakantanka. Two Feathers taught me first to pray for all beings before praying for self. Any desire to go beyond relationship and discussion would be a sign of less than excellence. We should reestablish ourselves in the thought of Wakantanka. Always find a way to agree, even with a powerful adversary, because you enjoy the opportunity gained through having rapport. The shaman is someone who has learned to discriminate between principle and opinion. So have the ability to agree, yet keep your own seat firm. Two Feathers used to say, as you are tolerant of other people's opinions, and you give unto others for Wakantanka's sake, and you allow others to have their way, you will reap a reward of 100-fold. The shaman is one who exercises self-control. Even though the waters flow like desire into the sea of our being, the sea remains unperturbed. The shaman knows peace through formlessness, alchemically created, by being without desire. The true shaman is one who acts from intuition rather than planning. The shaman's humility stems from realizing that Wakantanka and Tonkashila and the helpers work through us, and that Wakantanka is the power behind all deeds. Two Feathers once told me of a holy person who felt every step taken was guided by Wakantanka. The more hair that you let self go and gain formlessness, you also gain peace. You should come visit me at the Medicine Lodge next time we meet, said Turtle. I feel I've grown so much in such a short while. Everything you've said to me I'll reflect on till we see each other. Till we see each other, said Turtle, while watching Hare disappear into the bush. It seems like next time Hare and I are together, I should share some of the more inner truths of the shaman, thought Turtle. Hare was filled with joy that Turtle recognized the masterpiece within ready to unfold. I will be a great teacher, Hare thought excitedly. Turtle is well known in this area as a sage. Just being in Turtle's presence made Hare forget old habits of being. Hare decided, from here on I am going to do what I can to develop myself with Turtle's wise personal guidance.